no estaba conectado en internet y me gusta que la gente escucha. No estaba conectado en internet y me gusta que la... Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Swapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Tvanasandarshito Datra Dushtaram Nistitirshatam Galim Satwaram Punsam Karnadara Ivarnavam. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that we may accept you as a captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates the good qualities of a human being. Vayantuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yachrimvatam rasagyanam svadu svadu pade pade. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. Today we have very nice questions that all of you sent me. And Yamuna, Matajilavanga, Bhaktinaime sent me a list of very nice questions. So let's just begin. So about the questions of Yamuna, I want to know from you if you want to hear again what I explained in the Spanish video conference, also about the Katha Upanishad or about the Upanishads. What do you want me to say?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories for Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I would like you to explain again what the Katha Upanishad are. I mean, you explained in Spanish, but I would like to hear in English about the Katha Upanishad.
Katha Upanishad, not about the Upanishads.
The Upanishads in general, you could speak about, but you did focus on the Katha Upanishad, what exactly they are, and I would like to hear that again, please, sir. Thank you.
Katha Upanishad is one Upanishad. There are many Upanishads. There are 108 main Upanishad, which I explained this, that's why I'm going to say it again. Upanishad are parts of the Vedas, are not the separated books. The Vedas are four: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Yatharva Veda. Each Veda is divided in four parts, each of them, of the Vedas. And the fourth part are generally called Upanishad. The reason of this Upanishad, they give an explanation, a philosophical explanation of what the Vedas wanted to mean, because the Vedas, or the first three sections of the Vedas, do not deal with Atmavidya, which is, we may say, that is the most important subject matter, because Atmavidya means knowledge of us. So what is more important than us? And the reason why the Vedas do not deal with because the Vedas want to give rules, or how you say that? Want to give us information of how to just a second. I will start again. Formulas for reaching higher planets, or for improving the quality of our life. In other words, the Vedas deal with material life. Okay? There are different types of karma or activity that we can do in our life, different levels. The best levels of material life can be achieved by the Vedas. If we follow the Vedas, then we can get a very good life, material life. Okay, so since this is a fact, then Vyasadeva didn't want to leave the Vedas only for people in general, but also introduced the subject matter of the spiritual world. The spiritual, all of it, not necessarily Krishna Loka or the whole of spiritual. He gave us information on what is the spiritual world. Most of the Upanishad deal with impersonal knowledge, not all of them. Aisha Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, and other Upanishad deal also with personal Godhead, but without going too much into details of who this personality of Godhead is. So Srila Prabhupada in the beginning translated and explained the Isha Upanishad that we know as Shri Ishopanishad. It is the Isha Upanishad. Okay, and so we have an idea of how the Upanishad are. Of course, there are what is called the Mukhya Upanishad. Mukhya Upanishad are the 13 main Upanishad, which I will not give a list because otherwise we repeat the difficult lecture of 1 month ago with a lot of names. And also, even you can find in Ishvara the list of the 108 Upanishad. You can find it if you look in front. This list, why they are, who says that there are 108? Otherwise, actually, there are not only 108 or more, but 108 are the most important. Why? Because there is one Upanishad which is called Muktika Upanishad, give us this list of 108 Upanishad. So if you want to purify yourself by reading 108 names, then you go in Ishvara and you can read the title of the 108 thing. So actually the Upanishads are what it is called the Vedanta. The Vedanta are the Upanishad. The Vedanta means what is the conclusion of the Vedas. No? Anta means at the end, no? And Veda means knowledge. So at the end of knowledge of the material world, there are the Upanishad, which tells you that this material world is not the only thing that exists. There is also a spiritual world. Okay? This is concerning the Upanishad. About the Katha Upanishad, I wanted to speak about the Katha Upanishad because I don't remember why, but there was the reason why. And there is a story of the son of a Brahmana who was kind of cursed by his father to die. So he went to Dharmaraj, but Dharmaraj was not there when this boy, Brahmana boy, called Nachiketa, arrived. He was not there. So he waited 3 days, okay, which doesn't, you could say, is not much. Well, that is not the human 3 days. So you waited a lot. When Yamaraj, called also Yama or Dharmaraj or even only Dharma, he arrived. He was very sorry to have waited a Brahmana. Brahmana is the most important living being because it has the knowledge. Without knowledge, there is no human civilization. So one should strive to become a Brahmana, not just taking initiation Brahmana, but to be a Brahmana. Okay? So the Brahmana is fundamentally most a pure devotee, and he takes care of deities and knowledge. Deities and knowledge. Un Brahmana, to be a Brahmana, is to serve the deities and should study the scripture, not just reading, he should study. And there is no detail for a Brahmana. Everything is important, even the most apparently insignificant detail. So what happened is that we what happened is that Nachiketa asked from Dharmaraj, asked three, actually it's not that he asked, he was given 3 boons. Okay, you can choose. The first boon was that his father, which he cursed in a fit of anger to die, he loved him. That the day that he would go back to his father would embrace him and treat him as a son. The second was the knowledge of one yagya to go to the upper planets, and the third was Atmavidya, knowledge of the self. And Yamaraj didn't want to give him Atmavidya because certain things that cannot be said to everyone. Even us as devotees, which obviously don't have the knowledge of Yamaraj, sometimes we limit ourselves to speak about so many things, because actually to tell knowledge to persons who are not qualified, you can harm them. To be a preacher, the preacher is the most important service that we can have, also because you can harm people, giving them things that they cannot understand. It happened so many times in my life. And but at the end, Nachiketa said, tribunes, this is the tribunes. Please, give me Atmavidya. And he explained Atmavidya very nicely to Nachiketa, and I have it um, to be precise. Well, of course, much of these details, you find it in the Bhagavad Gita. First of all, it told him, what is Atma? Atma means the self, the thing that we are the self, and we are Atma. And he said something that you find in also in the Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad. Many Vaishnava professors call Bhagavad Gita a Upanishad. Okay? And he said that Atma do not take birth. The majority of people think. For us, it seems like a concept that we have heard millions of times, like repeatedly, etc. But most of the people of this planet do not know this. They think that they take birth and they die. That's life. So for someone who does not know that the soul is eternal, it's just something that I say, something extraordinary, something you would never think. To arrive to the concept of the immortality of Atma, then is the biggest achievement of life. There is no bigger achievement of life. So the soul is eternal. The body gets old, but the Atma do not get old. It stays the same. That's the Bhagavad Gita tells us, that the spirit soul do not grow up. The spirit soul do not get old. It's always the same. No? And you cannot be destroyed. You cannot cut it. You cannot burn it. Like this. That's Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, but also Yamaraj said the same thing to Nachiketa. And something that it took me, I said this concept last Saturday in the temple here in Puerto Rico, using the analogy of the chariot. This would be the third time that I say this, that I explain this in 5 or 6 days, So normally when we speak about the analogy of the chariot, we start from the ego. Ego means I am this. Does not mean that you are very arrogant. Of course, it also means that, but the idea, the translation of ego means I. Who am I? And then down to buddhi, manas, indriya, etc., etc. But I tried to explain differently because it is very important to know the path of perfection. what is the most important what is the most important thing in life? In life, we had to know how to live. So the hands, if you touch material thing, the information, it goes to the mind. You like these things, you dislike these things. If you touch fire, you dislike it. If you touch in level surface that is fresh, etc., you like it. So next time you meet something similar, the mind will tell you, yes, touch it, because you already have the information of this. No, don't touch it, because it is harmful. So if you want to purify our existence, the first thing we have to do is to engage our senses in spiritual activities. You have to touch spiritual thing like serving the deities, or you have to use the mouth, the tongue, to speak Krishna consciousness, or to chant, and not speaking nonsense and touch, and then you use your nose to smell incense offered to Krishna. You use your eyes to look Krishna and the devotees, the pure devotees, and the ears. So the more you utilize your senses in spiritual activities, the more you advance in spiritual life. Because once you do this, the mind will become purified. Mind, what is the mind? The mind is accepting and rejecting, thinking, feeling, willing. This is the 5 activities of the mind, which is called manas. So manas, the mind, cannot be controlled. It is true, because yoga is about controlling the mind. So what do you say? The mind can be controlled? No. No. What Arjuna says to in Bhagavad Gita, the mind cannot be controlled. It's more difficult to control the mind than controlling the wind. Have you read this verse? So how do you control it? You go, so we have to control it. We cannot just think to anything by purifying, by the purification. You cannot stop the mind. You have to purify the mind. So, because the mind is spiritual, it's not that when you get purified, you don't have a mind. You will be left with the mind forever, because it's a part of the spirit soul, the mind, the intelligence. It's not a material thing. So you can control the mind by letting it go. Because if you cannot control it, you don't want to control it if it is purified. Because a purified mind cannot do anything material, because it's purified. So the purified mind can be left doing, because everything the mind will do is to serve Krishna. Why? Because your senses have been accustomed to work for Krishna. That's how it works. That's how you control the mind, by purification. And how you control. So what is the intelligence? Intelligence and mind are the same thing. They're not the same thing. Mind is a mechanical system. Yes, no, I like, I dislike, like this. Intelligence is what gives an explanation to the mind of what it should do. There's reasons. It says, no, you cannot do this. The mind says, I like this. But intelligence says you may like it to do this, but it's not right. This is the function of the intelligence. Intelligence, when properly, how you say, when it properly
used or applied.
Like when you do something, you get accustomed to doing, how you say that?
Like a habit.
Train,
Train, yes.
train, yes, train. By studying, by knowledge. That's why Srila Prabhupada said to his disciples, you manage ISKCON, let me write, because he knew that it was the most important thing that he had to do, that was to write and to speak. So we are trained in Krishna consciousness by hearing philosophy, history, philosophy, everything concerned Krishna consciousness. And what happens when the intelligence is trained and he understands that material things are useless and spirit wish, and he only like to think about Krishna. He only like to speak about Krishna, and he tells, he orders the mind to be Krishna conscious, and the mind says to the senses to be Krishna conscious. Then what happens? That the ego changes. The ego becomes purified. Before ego, which means I am, he thought I am this material body. But when everything else is purified, then the ego becomes sane that we are not this material body, we are the spiritual soul. And this happens that all the filter around the spirit soul that works like a contamination center. When the soul that is pure wants to say something, it goes through the ego, it come out material, then this filter gradually goes away, and then we are directly in contact with the spirit soul. Okay, this is in a few words, what I explained the other time, maybe with different words, because I'm not a parrot. I cannot repeat by memory what I said, but basically this is the concept of that you find in Katha Upanishad. And if you want some quick information about Katha, why Katha, what was the name of Katha? Katha means subject matter, but also is the name of one very old ancient sage who founded a philosophical school. And the Katha Upanishad is work, the sage Katha. Okay, so this is basically more or less what I wanted to say about the Katha Upanishad. And yeah.
Thank you,
So if you
Gurudev. It's much clearer to me when I hear it in English as well as Spanish, so thank you very much.
it is clear now.
Yes, it's
It is
more clear.
clear,
Well, it's more
more
clear.
clear.
Thank you.
Okay, very, very good. And so if you don't have any question about what we spoke in these minutes, otherwise we go to the second question. Why Mataji Lavang and Bhattinebi are in black? That's you're not obliged to be.
There's a storm here, and so my connection is not really good. If I turn on my camera, I won't be able to hear you.
We had a storm which already passed, I think. It's not raining anymore, but I think we sent the storm in your house because it was really heavy minutes ago.
Yeah, I think so. It's been like this for a while now. Really heavy.
We sent you the storm.
Hare Krishna.
Bhattinevi, Hare Krishna.
My room is really hot. Where I live is really hot. I don't like what I'm wearing, so I just want to stay off camera. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just that we like to see the devotees, if you can. Otherwise, it's not a big problem. Thank you for coming. So we start again in the second question, which came from Mataji Lavanga. Very nice question. All of them are nice questions. There are no bad questions. And okay, I close this file of the Upanishad. Let's go to Mataji Lavanga. What is it? Okay. So she, do you think that I or you, if you want to read it all, the purport in the Shrimad Bhagavatam or the verse 1637, you should do it. Otherwise, we go directly to the questions.
Do you want me to read the complete verse and purport or just the part where I had a question?
Well, you know, I would like to hear. I have it in front of me, obviously, but for everybody else, you can read the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam or Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. All right, so
Thanks.
1637. Okay, so the translation is Sutta Goswami said, thus addressing Vyasadeva, Srila Narada Muni took leave of him, and vibrating on his Veena instrument, he left to wonder at his free will. Purport: every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is his transcendental nature, and this freedom is obtained only through the transcendental service of the Lord. Illusioned by the external energy, everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound up by the laws of nature. A conditioned soul cannot freely move from one place to another, even on this earth, and what to speak of one planet to another. But a full-fledged free soul like Narada, always engaged in chanting the Lord's glory, is free to move not only on earth, but also any part of the universe, as well as any part of the spiritual sky. We can just imagine the extent and unlimitedness of his freedom, which is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling, and no one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person even after he undergoes all the detailed formulas. Similarly, the association of the devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it.
You read something else. It's not the same. What I have in front of me is not the same. The concepts are the same. But anyway, yeah, okay, finish it.
This last part of the purport is what I had posted in my question, because this is what I had a question about. I mean, I just read the whole purport.
Okay.
Similarly, the association of the devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may not have it, even after thousands of endeavors. Therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot. Without freedom, there is no execution of devotional service. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. To surrender to the Lord, even through the transparent medium of the spiritual master, is to obtain complete freedom of life. So the last part of the purport was the part that I had the 3 questions about.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. The first question is, what is meant by detailed formulas? Detailed formulas is that, Krishna consciousness is not a simple thing. It's very detailed, like chanting Hare Krishna, which it appears very simple. You just chant. It's not so simple. There are a lot of details, a lot of things that you should do and what you should not do. Of course, Shastra say just chant, but this is for beginners. Then, when you advance in spiritual life, you have to be careful to so many things. You should chant, yes, but you should not chant while doing something else, or you should not chant while your hands are not cleaned, or you should not chant by touching the big bag on the floor. I can go on and on. So detailed formulas means that there are so many things to do, and that it may also hinder your advancement. Like here, Srila Prabhupada, he says that he may not develop in a particular pencil even after he undergoes all the detailed formula. You do all the rules, you follow all the rules, but then that is not enough. That is not enough. Because the explanation is in the second part of your question. Does this mean even after making an endeavor, one still might not develop a pure devotional service? One who thinks this way is not a pure devotee. A pure devotee does not ask it to himself or to anyone, I am doing right, or if I endeavor, I will get it. I will get pure devotional service or not. Pure devotional service is something beyond questions, beyond doubts, beyond doing everything all right. You cannot go to Krishna saying, Krishna, you must give me the pure devotional service because I did everything right. Everything, look, Upanishad says this and Bhagavad Gita said that, and now you must. But the rule, the Shastra, the instructions that we find in the Shastra and in the spiritual master, all these things are to bring you to pure devotional service, are not the end. Instructions are not the end, it's the mean to get to pure devotional service. And yes, sometimes you can do everything all right and never get to pure devotional service, because pure devotional service is attained by a certain type of state of mind that are facilitated by rules, but they are not the rules. Is it clear?
Yes, that part is clear. So, in other words, like our practice is to help us develop devotional service, but
Yeah.
it's also we have to have Krishna's mercy to get it. Is this correct?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, you cannot get don't go anywhere without Krishna's mercy. But how you get Krishna's mercy? So if you chant Hare Krishna, I'm making an example of the phrase that you done. If you chant Hare Krishna and you think, oh, I'm making an endeavor, one still might not develop pure devotional service. This is not the right mind. This is not the right thing to think, because it's completely different. Pure devotees think, look, I am doing this because my spiritual master told me to do it. That's all. I can go to Krishna, or not going to Krishna. The devotee who is very advanced does not care, because what he cares is to obey Shastra, Guru, and Krishna. There was not long ago, I was actually reading something about Vrindavan, and there was so many devotees saying, if you stay in Vrindavan, you do this, you do that. And then Srila Prabhupada, all at once, he appears in the book I was reading, saying, the devotees, those who are in Vrindavan, do not care to go to Vrindavan. Because, first of all, they're already there. But the whole point of bhakti or devotional service is to give what he can give and does not care what he gets back. If he gets going to Krishna or not going to Krishna, just like the Bhagavad Gita. What the Bhagavad Gita says about action. Bhagavad Gita says in the action that you are not entitled in the result of what you do. You are entitled only of doing what you are doing. This is deep. It is not. Because so many devotees say, well, I like chant Hare Krishna because I want to experiment ecstasy. I chant Hare Krishna because I want to go back to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, which is the ABC of spirituality, does not say that. It says that you do devotional service to do devotional service. That's it. You don't have the right to receive spiritual advancement, to receive initiation, to receive, how you say, the how you say
Results.
that, the respect of others, etc., like the story of Madhavendra Puri that I published a couple of days ago, etc., etc. So if we want really to advance in spiritual life, we should be detached by the result for our enjoyment, but just do what Guru Shastra Sadhu or Krishna Guru says you to do. The second question, or you want to, if there is something you want to say, or
I'm sorry, Raj. I was just gonna add, I appreciate your explanation because sometimes I get confused. Like you mentioned the Dom, and I'll hear often that, oh, they say if you stay 3 days in
you
the Dom.
dropped.
Okay. Can you hear me?
No.
No? No? Okay.
Say it again. Last time.
Okay. So, like some devotees will say, if you stay 3 days in the Dom, you're guaranteed to go back to Godhead. And so I was thinking when I was reading this that it says even after going through all the different formulas, one may not get pure devotional service. So,
Yeah.
because you hear these different things like, oh, if you do this, you will go back to Godhead, or if you do that, you will go back to Godhead. So I
No,
got
you should not care. You should not care of going back to Godhead. Because what we are going to do in the kingdom of Krishna, you're going to serve Krishna. What you can do here to serve Krishna is the same thing. The difference is your consciousness, but your consciousness can be exactly the same in this material world than in the spiritual world. Is going back to Krishna is Krishna's mercy. It's not your right. It's not even your desire. Krishna, do with me whatever you want. This is what a devotee, a pure devotee thing. You want to bring me back to Krishna conscious, to Krishna Loka? Oh, I'm happy. You don't want, I'm happy. This is the pure devotee. Does not care what he get from from Krishna. This is why I read an article by an important Acharya Vaishnava saying that Dhruva Maharaj was not a pure devotee. Because he wanted the kingdom. He wanted the kingdom of his father. But the pure devotee does not ask anything. Did Prahlad Maharaj asked Narasimhadeva to come? Never. It's not written anywhere. He came because he wanted. It was a mercy. He won. Narasimhadeva wanted to come. No, Prahlad did not want him to come because he was already in Krishna consciousness. So this is very important for those who wants to be a pure devotee, and those who want to know what is a pure devotee, what the pure devotee, how the pure devotee is living his spiritual life. The pure devotee does not care about anything. He wants only pure devotional service, life after life. If he wants to give me, I'll take it. If he doesn't want to give me, thank you so much, the same. Okay, so our way to understand from this purport that the association of a devotee is rare, and one still may not get the association even if they try. Yes, you already explained it to yourself. You try, you want it. Leave it to Krishna. We had to leave everything to Krishna. Krishna, please send me a pure devotee if you want. And if you try, I want it, then your desire is not pure. Pure is surrender. Surrender to Krishna. What do you want to give me? Pure devotee? Of course I want a pure devotee. Who doesn't want a pure devotee? No? But then what about if the pure devotee is not here? No, Srila Prabhupada left in 77, and we are without such an immense, transcendentally immense personality, and you have me, which obviously there is a gulf of difference. But then Krishna arranged in this way. Krishna wanted him to leave this planet, and then he did. It's very rare. Sometimes life after life, you don't get a pure devotee. That gives us the how you say, the measure of how lucky we have been in our movement, that it was founded by a super pure devotee of the Lord. That is not, even in the past, of course, there have been so many great Acharya, as great as Srila Prabhupada, etc. But there was no movement, there was no organization to help people. They were more or less left them alone, while now you come to the temple and you have devotees. May not be pure devotees, but they are devotees. Is that okay as a second question?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Yes, it's a very insightful answer, and it gives me more appreciation for Prabhupada's books and purports, because
Yes.
not everybody gets this opportunity. So thank you.
Yes. So your third question is, what does not become dependent on the Lord in every respect mean? In what way a devotee is not dependent on the Lord? Well, the whole of Srila Prabhupada purport was about freedom, was about Narada Muni. Narada Muni was free, who had the same freedom, almost the same freedom of the Lord. He could go anywhere, touching his playing his vina and chanting. If he wanted to go there, he could go. He was not. This was a power that Krishna gave him. He had already. He has not to ask Krishna, please give me the possibility to fly in the universe. He already gave it. He was free. So in this sense, Narada Muni was not dependent on the Lord because the Lord gave him already everything. It was his capacity because he was such a great devotee. So the pure devotee is very much free. Is not dependent relatively. Of course, you have to understand that at the end, we are always, Krishna, could Krishna decide to take away Narada's prerogatives? Of course he could, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then he said, Narada, I give you the power, don't bother me anymore. So, in this sense, he says that he was not dependent in every respect with him because he had everything he needed. Are we okay?
Yeah, I understand better now. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we go to Batin Amy or Aime. She had a list of questions. The Srila Prabhupada did not want us to call him Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is enough. Swami is Indian. In India, they put Swami before the name, but that's not appropriate. Okay, so let's talk about the overlapping of the 28th round of the 4 millenniums. We have a day of Brahma. Okay? So the day of Brahma is divided in 14. This is the period when Manu lives. There are 14 Manus. Okay? So now we are in the 7th Manu, which is Vaivashvata Manu. Okay? That means 6 Manus, they already were born and lived. Okay? So each Manvantara means the period of life of Manu. Okay? In the each Manu lived a certain amount of time, divided normally in Sandhya, Sandamsha, and Kali itself. That means the 4 yugas. Of everybody knows the name of the 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Did I make a mistake and put them into line? Yes, it was a mistake. Because I said Satya Yuga,
Satya,
Dvapara
Treta,
Yuga.
yes, Dwapara.
Because Dvapara means 2. So Treta Yuga means 3. So it should be Dvapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Okay, but this succession of yugas became the Treta Yuga overlapped Dvapara. It is clear what it means to develop, just to name it differently. No, means that all the characteristics of human being, of how everything was in the world, happened as in a Dvapara Yuga and happened in the Treta Yuga. So because this Treta Yuga was like a Dwapara Yuga is called Dwapara Yuga. But it's Treta Yuga. Okay, so the characteristic of the Treta Yuga happened in the second Yuga. So that's why we say Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, while it should be in the other sense. It is clear because it's not clear. I say it in another way.
It's clear. You said that the characteristics of the Treta Yuga happened in Dwapara Yuga.
I think, but it should be Satya Yuga, Dwapara, Treta. Okay.
I've heard about them being
The-
Hare Krishna. I've heard about them being named, the names being interchangeable before. Is that what you're referring to?
I did not understand. Sorry, can you say it again?
Like, I heard about the second Yuga, the one after Satya Yuga. I've heard of some people referring to that Yuga as Dwarpa Yuga, which is what
I
you're
think
doing here.
everybody has problem, or maybe I have a problem because I cannot. Everybody, kind of gets dropped.
Maybe your internet is unstable, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, because Batinevi is saying, I know that he's trying to say something, but it's not arrives here.
She said that she has heard.
Okay, I will.
Oh.
She said what?
She has heard people refer to the second Yuga as the Dwapara Yuga.
Yes, because the second is called Dwapara Yuga. But in this Mahayuga, Mahayuga means the 4 yugas, it's called Mahayuga. Everything that it would happen in Treta Yuga happened in Dwapara Yuga. And that's why the second age has been called Treta Yuga, because was just the same as a Treta Yuga. And everything that happened in Dwapara Yuga happened in Treta Yuga.
Okay, so it's like they interchanged. Like the
It's
Treta
interchanged.
Yuga happened in the second and the Dwapara in the third.
Correct. That's why it is called overlapping. The Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada uses this word, overlapping. Okay? And there is a reason why it happened. Why it happened? Because in this Mahayuga happened something extraordinary that happens only very rarely. That is the appearance of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna cannot appear in Treta Yuga. It's too degraded. So happened in Vapara Yuga. And to receive Krishna, Dwapara Yuga happened in the place of Treta Yuga. Okay? And also happened the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not many years after appeared, Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not come every time. It happens one time every day of Brahma. Every day of Brahma. So it is quite rare. We are incredibly lucky to be devotee. Okay, so how do we know when there is going to be an overlapping of the period? That's not something that we can know. It is everything in the scriptures. The great sages who know the scriptures, they can determine if we are in Kali Yuga or we are, 5,000 years ago. None of us would have thought that we are at the beginning of Kali Yuga. It was normal. It was like one day equal to the other one, but the change is very gradual. Unless one is not a Vedic sage, cannot notice. This Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also descended during overlapping of period. Yes, it happened in the overlapping of the 26 Mahayuga of Vaivasvata Manu. Okay. In this overlapping of Sandhyas, when Lord Krishna decided to descend, there are Sandhya, Sandamsha, and Sandhya, what's her name? The yuga is divided into three. The beginning of the yuga, which is called Sandhya, the yuga, and then the closing yuga. What's the name? Sandhya, Sandamsha, Sandhya Yuga, Sandhyamsha. Sandhyamsha is going to be when Vishnu will appear as Kalki. That's the Sandhyamsha. We are still at the Sandhya of Kali Yuga. We are not in Kali Yuga yet. Okay? So, the overlapping of Sandhya, Lord Krishna decided to descend in the Dvapara Yuga. Sandhya is the beginning of Kali Yuga. When you read about Parikshit, etc., this happened in Sandhya. Is it clear? It's not my fault. You make these questions, complicated questions. If you don't want complicated answers, don't give me complicated questions.
I loved your answer, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. It was perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Does the spiritual vision come when one is liberated? Well, you cannot have anything spiritual if you are still in material consciousness. Of course, everything is gradual. It's not that one day you wake up and you are spiritual, or you are not liberated until midnight or the rest. That's something very, very gradual. You can have some kind of spiritual visions even now, although I don't advise you to even consider that, but in a pure theoretical way, you can have a little spiritual realization even during our present stage. Does that mean that when one becomes pure? When one becomes pure, you don't understand that you are pure. It's not that something in your heart says, "Hey, Vatinemi, you're pure now." No, it's a fact, and you can act differently without you understanding that you are pure, because it becomes natural. So there is no difference. You think that you have not advanced while you have advanced. Okay? So let the spiritual master, let the devotees, say, "Oh, Vatinemi is very much advanced." What does Prabhupada mean when he says that one can see through the scriptures? Because the scripture tells you things that you will not have understood without the scriptures. So although you don't know how these things is, you accept it because the Shastra tells you so. And this kind of level of faith is not blind faith. It's faith. There are unreasonable faith and reasonable faith. If you have been a devotee for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, you have developed a faith because everything worked. Guru says, if you chant, you're purified, you chant, you're purified. if you do this, you do that you saw it, it happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 100 things you were told and happened. This is normal to have faith in something that you still don't understand. You need faith. You need faith to understand that Krishna lifted the Govardhan. You cannot see it, but you have been decades in Krishna consciousness. So it's normal, it comes natural for you in believe in something you cannot see, you cannot prove to yourself, and this kind of things. This is how does one know what? That if you are liberated or not. Yeah, don't, don't try to self-analyze too much. You just do what you have to do. It's much simpler. Otherwise, every night you say, am I advanced or not? This kind of thought that you will be so busy in ascertain if you are advanced or not that you forget to advance. Okay? You just advance. And if you are advanced or not, doesn't care. This is scientific. This is not a religion. This is science, Krishna consciousness, science. Okay, so men like crows, a man, Paramahansa, while men got the essence of the comparison of well, crows, they are not attractive, because they have this terrible voice and they eat terrible things, etc. And swans, they are they like a clean thing. So Paramahansa are those who wants a pure things in life, cleaned, pure, and not the absurd things of material life. It's not interested because it's like at the beginning is a Hamsa and then Paramahansa. It's a pure devotee, an advanced devotee wants only Krishna consciousness. And when he thinks about Krishna and preaching Krishna consciousness, studying the scripture, your day is full. And then you feel happiness because you feel cleaned. There is nothing giving you troubles in your heart because Krishna consciousness work. This is like Paramahans. Yes. I think that's it. And unless you have more questions live, otherwise we close here. And Bhakti, is she there?
Hare Krishna, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I think your connection also is not good because I couldn't hear what you were saying. Can you try it again?
Let me see. Can you hear me better now?
Huh?
How is it now? Can you hear me?
No.
I'm sorry. Maybe I have a bad connection. I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, nothing that you can do or we can do. But anyway, could you hear the class?
Yes, I heard the full class, and I'm gonna email you
Okay.
some follow-up questions.
Did you hear most of the class?
Yes, I heard the whole class.
The whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, very nice. All right, so do we have something more to discuss or we had to close? All right,
I
so
wanted to
thank you
say
very much
thank
for
you, Guru
coming.
Maharaj.
Huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and I will correct the article in Italian that you send after 10-15 minutes, because I need to drink and eat something. And so tonight you will have it. And nothing. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Manonatha Maharaj ki jai.